I mean, he was dating tens, unbelievably gorgeous women. And a few things that he emphasized to me was obviously going to the gym because he was lifting hard in his 40s. He thought I was in the right profession. And he said, you gotta have the bag. You have to have the money. Mm-hmm. And you also have to learn women. And so he taught me about female nature. And one of the first lessons he taught me was he said, when you're dealing with a woman, act as though you have had it. Act as though you've had women.
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing. Like,
confidence.
You don't have to get in her skirt on date one. Act like you're the man and you've had a ton of women. He said women are attracted to confidence.
Welcome to Secrets of a Sugar Daddy. Here's your host, Marcus.
Welcome to another episode of Secrets of a Sugar Daddy, the number one sugar dating podcast in the US of A and the rest of the world, where we pull back the curtains on the good and the bad. And Lily?
The adventurous.
Well, yes, but the shocking stories of sugar dating.
I'm feeling adventurous.
Yeah?
Just got back from LA.
Oh, yeah, you went to
Hollywood.
How was that?
It was so fun.
Family?
Yeah. Well, Trucker's family.
Yeah.
And I met them for the first time. That was great. They were awesome people. We did the Warner Brothers studio tour.
Oh, that's right. You posted that on Patreon.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Really cool.
Yeah, I've never been.
It.
I don't think I've told you, but I was looking at our numbers on the charts, on the Apple charts. And the reason I brought up USA, usually I say some other country.
I know. I was waiting for something exotic.
It's because we hit the highest ranking we've ever hit in the USA chart, which was at 38 in the sexuality division.
38. If you ain't first, you're last.
Well, I'm pretty happy with 38. I mean, we've climbed the ladder. It's kind of up and down, kind of like the stock market. It goes up and it goes down, our rankings. But we've had really good rankings last week, I think, because I was on a couple of different podcasts. And we have links to that. Actually, I posted the entire podcast on our Patreon group. And they're a lot of fun to listen to. I was a guest on one called The Peripheral. I think I said that right. And it was really cool. And then another one called My Wife's Best Friend podcast. And we're actually going to have him, the host of that show, on our show because he's got a blockbuster announcement coming up in July of his lineage that he's adopted. And he found out his dad is very, very famous.
Infamous.
Well, kind of infamous too, but his father actually is no longer alive, and there's some disputes over the inheritance and all that good stuff. But his dad has some sugar babies. Let's just put it that way.
So many hints.
Yeah, so we're going to reveal that here soon enough. But yeah, we're just rocketed up the charts. So we thank all of our listeners. And you know what we're going to do? We're having a party for our listeners, a podcast party in July 12th through 14th. If you have not heard, then you have not been listening to our podcast because we have been talking about it.
You're having a party?
We are, and you're invited.
Woohoo.
All right. So let me just give you some quick details. All the details and application is on our website at secretsofasugardaddy.com. We are giving away 25 sugar baby packages. What that includes is 3 days, 2 nights of accommodations. Some of you are even going to get your airfare paid for. We've got some sugar daddy sponsorship money coming in right now, and we're going to see how much we have. Start divvying it out. So some of you, your airfare will be included, some not. Sorry about that. But everything else that weekend is included. We have a mixer at the W on Friday night. That's going to be a lot of fun. And then on Saturday, we're having our pre-party, a party bus to take us to Footprint Arena, which is downtown Phoenix, and where we're going to see Hootie and the Blowfish and Collective Soul. It's going to be a fun concert. We have 2 suites right next to each other, dead center stage. It's going to include food and beverages. Then we got the party bus coming home, and we have a confirmed couple guests, and one of them is Short King, and I'm sure you're going to want to come just to see Short King dance on the party bus. Right, Lily?
Bartender extraordinaire.
Yeah. So that's worth that's worth getting here just that alone. Then Sunday, we're going to have like a little brunch kind of as people wake up and recover. And then we'll start giving people rides to the airport or wherever they need to go.
Speaking of Sugar Daddy sponsors,
Yeah.
I've got a fat envelope right here.
Oh, you do?
Full of cash.
And he paid for an airfare.
Yeah. And so he wants to challenge the other sponsors. And even if you're not coming to the party, you want to fly one of our sugar babies over to Scottsdale. Have at it. Yeah, he's already paid for somebody's flight.
And that would be Bad Brad.
Bad Brad.
Yes.
And he's challenging the rest of the sugar daddies.
There you go. Okay, so out of the 25 Sugar Baby packages, I think I've got about 10 left that we haven't given away yet. So there's still time, but you want to get your application in now. And then the Sugar Daddy sponsors, I think we have around 7 spots left. Somewhere around there. I'll have to add it up. But we're a little flexible on that part. 44 people total is what these suites hold. 22 in each suite. So it's going to be fun. If you are a Patreon member, you get priority status. Mm-hmm. Right? And that Patreon group's a lot of fun. The community chat is really a lot of fun. We get into all kinds of subjects on there. People introduce themselves. We get all kinds of comments on different things. And then, like I said, I'm posting all kinds of fun. Lily posted the pictures of her vacation. I'm posting links, my guest appearances. You get to hear every single episode and extra sugar before the public. And we also have some coaching and profile reviews. I mean, there's a lot of really cool things on there. One thing, Lily, and I'm going to have to talk to you about this. I hadn't even brought this up yet. They have a feature where you can live stream. So I thought, wouldn't that be cool if we kind of live stream of course, we won't show our faces, but we'll just set it up like in the corner here and we'll live stream our podcast as we do them. What do you think about that? They'll hear the unedited version.
I'm going to have to let that percolate a little bit.
We'll think about that one. But there's some really cool live stream opportunities. Maybe
live stream a little bit of the concert, not necessarily the people, but a little bit of the concert.
I don't know. We're playing with that, but that is a feature of Patreon. So how much does it cost to become a Patreon member, Lily?
Zilch.
Right. We have some free things that we post on there, so you'll get some value out of that. I mean, it's free, and you will also, if you apply to the party, you will also be put ahead of the public. And if you become a VIP supporter of the show, then you open up the entire Patreon and you get to see all the photos, videos, get all the perks, and it's very cheap. So
Pandora's box.
there you go.
Hey, Marcus, can you talk to Brian Howie for me?
Okay.
I'm sitting here awkwardly holding my microphone, which I want to turn sideways and play like a harmonica because I don't have a mic stand. What gives, Brian Howie?
All right. We'll talk to him. He's the owner of our podcast studio. Anyway, you got that in, but we have some guests today. This is a fascinating story, at least to me it is. And I think you guys are going to find it's fascinating too. Years ago, and I don't even remember how many, it's got to be a couple years now. Okay, 3 years ago, she's saying, I just met somebody at Starbucks. We just had some coffee and chatted, and her story was fascinating to me because she went on a journey, and no disrespect, but basically the ugly duckling to the swan.
The beautiful swan.
It's unbelievable. A weight loss at that time of 125 pounds, and I've seen before and afters. It's unbelievable. So she was just getting into the sugar dating scene, didn't know much about it. We discussed a lot of things, and it's unbelievable how you can meet somebody one time. This is the second time I've seen you since we met, but you've stuck around. Been friends with our podcast on our Instagram. We've chatted, and here you are in the studio. You met someone.
I did.
And he's here today. So welcome, JJ and Lynne. How are you guys?
I'm fantastic. I'm excited to be here. I know we chatted a little bit about being on a podcast, I think right when you started. Yeah, and then life got crazy. And
So that was 3 years ago?
I think it was about 3 years ago.
Because then I must have just started the podcast.
Yes, and
Wow.
I think you had actually just interviewed one of my friends that you actually had an arrangement with.
Really?
She was a bodybuilder.
Oh, that's right. She was my very first interview ever.
I didn't know she was your first interview.
Yeah, she was show number 2. The show number 1 was just me and my co-host Amy just kind of kicking things off, trying to figure out where we're going to take this. And I'd met her on the site, and she was an amazing woman. She does her own podcast now. I've kind of watched her journey. It's really taken a turn, I think, for the better. And
I mean, she's engaged. She's pregnant. She looks very happy.
Right. But she was my very first interview. I'll never forget that. So that's right. You were friends with her. That's amazing. So tell us about, I guess let's just go back to the beginning. Let's get your ages. You are how old?
35.
35, and JJ?
52, going to be 53 next week.
All right. That's my yeah. All right. So you and I grew up in the same state, or we were from the same state.
They're from the same state. And then I went to college, I think about 30 minutes outside of where you were from.
Oh.
Super small town, Texas.
Wait, remind me what college you went to.
Angelo State.
Oh, yes.
And we talked about the goat cook-off.
Yeah,
all the
that's
crazy
right.
Goat cook-off.
Yeah, so I grew up
Best
in a
thing about West Texas is the goat cook-off.
I grew up in a small town. This is when I lived in Brady, Texas, and it's literally 15 miles from the dead center of Texas, like right in the X of Texas, if you want to see where it is. Well, every summer we had the World's Championship Goat Cook-Off. That was the big event in town. I mean, this town is like 5,000 people. It's very
Was this
small.
like you pit cooked a goat?
Yeah, you barbecued a goat, and then they, contest to see who could do it the best. And then if you won, you were the champion goat cook-off.
I don't know if I've ever eaten goat.
You probably got to try over 100 different types of ways to cook and eat goat.
Right.
So it was
Wow.
it was a fun date experience.
Yeah. Dude, I wonder if they still have it.
They do.
Do they still have it?
I'm friends with people that are down there still, and
wow.
they have it every year.
So yeah, so you and I had some fun things to talk about because we kind of were in the same area of Texas, which is very rural, very small, very podunk. Yes, they have lots of thick accents there, just like you would think they would.
I had a thick accent when I was there.
Yeah.
Moved to North Carolina and I lost it.
You lost it in Carolina?
Yeah, I think that accent kind of just canceled out my Texas accent.
Oh,
and so now I have this more neutral.
More neutral. Yeah. When I moved to Arizona, I was speaking the way I speak in Texas. I was in a corporate job and they called me out on a few of my podunk phrases, that I used. And I thought, I better clean up my speech a little bit or I'm not going to fit in here. I didn't want to look like a dumbass, or uneducated, I guess you would say.
I mean, and I still throw like y'all in text messages and emails and everybody's like, oh, well, it's just you.
Yeah, there you go.
It's quaint.
So why did you decide that you were going to venture into sugar dating?
So I was married for 8 years, very traditional Roman Catholic. My ex-husband and I, both of our families. I was the breadwinner. It was not a very good marriage, bad situation. He spent all the money that I made. He was pretty lazy. He didn't really do much of anything. So I supported both of us.
How old were you when you got married?
23,
And how old was he?
24.
Okay.
So we met in college. We were friends for 3 years. Between dating and engaged, that was a year and a half. So
Now, were you heavy when you met him?
No, I was an athlete. I ran cross country. I played volleyball. I barrel raced. And he was great when we were dating and when we were engaged. And then it was almost like a switch flipped right after we got married. He became very controlling, wouldn't let me have friends, wouldn't let me go to the gym, forced me to change my eating habits. I went from eating super healthy to eating, tons of traditional Mexican food. Over the course of 8 years, I gained over 100 pounds.
Wow.
Was he Hispanic?
Yes.
Okay.
And then
Why did you say that?
Because she had to eat Mexican food all the time. And also, my first husband was Hispanic, and he was controlling and jealous.
And you gained a lot of weight.
Not in my first marriage, no.
Oh.
That was my third marriage.
Oh.
I was eating my feelings the entire time.
Yeah, I mean, I was in a very deep depression. I ate my feelings. I, suicidal. It was not a good situation. I then went to Uganda for a couple weeks with some friends.
Uganda?
Yes, Uganda.
Was it like a mission trip or what was it?
We just wanted to do like a humanitarian trip. But
Okay.
Also, we went on safari and we floated the Nile and
Really?
yeah. So it was
exciting.
There's 10 of us and it was really the first time I had been away from my husband the entire time we were together. and I felt so free. I knew the marriage wasn't going to work, honestly, the day I walked down the aisle. Like, I almost left him at the altar, which is funny because he almost left his first wife at the altar.
Gosh.
Well, we'll get into that.
I'm having deja vu because my sister was driving me to the church and she said, we can just keep driving.
Yeah.
You don't have to do this.
Like, anything that could have gone wrong on my wedding day did. And same for him. So I knew I wanted to get divorced. We were Catholic. I was told divorce was not an option. So I tried to make it work. And I finally just, had come to terms with I'll be in this terrible marriage the rest of my life.
So did you feel like you were just checking a box? Like, here I am. I'm supposed to get married. Let's get this done.
And it was, because all my friends were getting married at the time.
Yeah.
And it was a sexless marriage. And
So I take it you didn't have children?
no.
Thank God.
Thank God.
That makes it so hard.
But yeah, when I was in Uganda, I decided that I was going to officially leave him. I emailed my boss my 2 weeks notice and started looking for jobs back in Texas because I was living in Arizona at the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I went back to work for about a week and then woke up one morning and told him I was gone and don't ever follow me again.
Wow.
So,
Did he kind of stalk you?
yes,
Mine did too.
he followed me to Texas. He followed me to work. He followed me to my apartment. He yelled at me. He threw things at me. Had to get some friends involved.
And tried to poison everyone against you, and probably including your own family.
Yes, because I was living with my parents and I moved to Texas.
You and I lived the same first marriage.
Yeah.
my
So
goodness.
because I was living with my parents when I moved back, just because I figured I could save some money. But then he got with my parents, and then my parents were like, no, you can't leave him. You need to go back to him. But yeah, the divorce financially ruined me. Probably close to $80,000 is what it cost.
Oh, I know. I went through it, and my ex-wife, the day she filed papers, she pulled money out of the account to give to her lawyer. So I had to pay for her lawyer, and then she fired her first lawyer, and I had to pay for her second lawyer. Oof. In the meantime, I had to pay for my lawyer. I'm like, what the fuck, man, this marriage stuff. Whew.
So I was in a pretty bad financial position. And after about a year, no, it was probably close to 6 months, I started dating a really nice guy. He was older. Actually, funny enough, the same exact age difference between JJ and I. Mm-hmm. But he was also Hispanic. But, I was in San Antonio, Texas.
There you go.
But he had a very nice job. He made close to $600,000 a year.
How much?
$600,000 a year.
Nice.
He took care of me, and it was the best relationship I've
Now, what did
ever
he
been
do?
in. So he was an Army Ranger, but he had a degree from MIT. So he was also an engineer.
Oh,
He worked for manufacturing plants, helped them run their operations. He also taught at a couple colleges, kind of
okay.
jack of all trades.
Now,
Yeah.
where did you meet this guy?
At work,
At work. Okay. Can I
But-
ask what industry you're in?
food manufacturing. So kind of little niche.
So you found a sugar daddy at work.
Yes.
In the wild.
And the
That's
wild.
amazing.
Yeah.
We honestly started out as friends. We started out as gym buddies because he lifted a lot and I was starting to get back into weightlifting. And then it just kind of progressed. So kind of, had my own sugar daddy for a while. That
How long did that relationship last?
about a year and a half. We were going to move to Phoenix together because we just wanted to, start over. Because I had family drama there. He had family drama there. And I moved to Phoenix. He was supposed to move into my apartment together. We got a lease together. He didn't show up.
Oh.
Found out from a mutual friend that he moved to New York with a girlfriend.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
What? Wait a minute.
That two-timing bastard.
So you came to Phoenix,
Because my job was starting 2 weeks
Yeah.
before his job was.
and then he never came.
Right.
He
So
went
I
the
was
opposite direction.
Stuck with this
Oh my
super
gosh.
expensive apartment that I couldn't afford by myself.
Were you in love with him?
Yes.
So you were heartbroken. He left you financially strained. Damn it.
So
Don't date Hispanic men.
That's a mean thing to say.
I'm going to get in trouble for
Yeah,
that.
you are.
but I also really I don't like white guys.
Scorpios and Mexican men. Stay away.
Listen to you.
But yeah, so then I kind of took some time off of dating to focus on bodybuilding and do bikini competition. And then I started, Tinder, Bumble, whatever.
Now you're how old at this point? Just to give a reference.
30, 31.
Okay. Yeah.
So
you did the Bumble, Tinder.
yeah, and I was getting lots of coffee dates or lots of, hey, let's Netflix and chill tonight. I'm like, I'm not really into that. I said, I just got out of this amazing relationship with a guy who treated me really well, and I don't want to go backwards. At this point, I had gotten a roommate just because I couldn't afford the apartment by myself. And she mentioned to me about Seeking. And she's like, I did this when I was in Philadelphia. And she's like, I paid for my rent and paid for like all my expenses.
What kind of expectations did she give you besides the financial ones? What did she tell you about the men that might be knocking on your door?
She just said that they'd be older.
Okay.
And hopefully wealthy and generous.
Yeah, but she's like, you're extremely intelligent. She's like, you're in great shape now. Obviously, you were not.
This is after
This was after my weight loss.
your journey.
And this was after my bodybuilding show.
Did I say how heavy you had gotten? It was 264 pounds, right? Or 265?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I got down to 140.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
So, and like no loose skin.
And it took you, I think, about what, two and a half years to do that?
Yeah. So she introduced me to Seeking. She's like, you're intelligent, you're pretty, you're smart, good at just talking to people. You went to finishing school, so, you'll be able to go to country clubs and nice dinners and fit right in. So yeah, then I got on Seeking, and I think I had been on for maybe a week when you messaged me.
And I was one of the first guys that you had actually met in person?
Yes.
And that's how many times have we heard this?
I think you
All
may have
the
been like
time.
the second one I met in person.
Okay.
Man, that Starbucks has seen a lot of meet and greets. Was it the one at Mesa Riverview?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, and you told me that I wasn't really the type of girl that you're normally looking for, because you are more into the Latina.
Yeah, see, I like the Latina.
See, and he was even upfront with me. But you're like, hey, since you're new, let's get together and I'll kind of like help you out.
Yeah, there was
With
something,
sugar dating.
I don't remember the exact conversation, but I just felt like this duty of mine to help you with this journey that you're embarking, because
Because I had no idea what I was doing.
because there's a lot of bullshit to get through, but there's a lot of great people
Right.
that you could meet if you just do it right and kind of filter through. So, yeah, so
So-
we chatted and
Clearly, I did well.
yeah.
You met JJ on Seeking.
I did meet JJ on Seeking.
Where was your meet and greet?
So, funny enough, I was on the treadmill, because I'm, a gym rat. And I guess he was scrolling on there too. And we were typing messages to each other, and we pressed send at the exact same time.
Wow.
It was fate.
So, and I know usually everybody else I met off Seeking, we would message back and forth on Seeking for a while, and then we would go to text message, and then eventually we would meet. For us, he's like, hey, do you want to do dinner tonight? Because he had been catfished a couple times, and he's like, I at least want to see if you're who you say you are, especially since you mentioned that you've lost weight. But yeah, so I'm like, well, I'm on the treadmill right now. I have 10 minutes cardio left. I said, I have some makeup and a dress in my car. I said, I can shower at the gym, and I can meet you somewhere in an hour.
Wow.
Where did you guys meet?
We went over to Hillstone.
Oh, you like Hillstone?
I love Hillstone.
Yeah, I've met a few people there too.
So that was our, meet and greet. And then I think it was on a Tuesday or Wednesday. And then once we realized we actually liked each other and would be compatible and, we're attracted to each other, we went over to Capitol Grill. I think that's Saturday.
Well, another one of our
other favorite
favorites.
place.
Yeah.
For a first official date.
Yeah, you're hitting all the good stuff. All right, well, you've got to bring JJ in now.
Yeah, we need to hear from the man who bought that rock. Dear
Oh,
God.
I just now looked over.
I've been trying not to
my-
bring it up. But
5
that,
carats.
Wow. All right, she's passing it around.
Goals.
Oh, man. Look at this bad boy.
I got to take a picture of this for Trucker.
We need to put it on our Patreon, too.
Yeah, feel free.
Oh, my goodness.
That's beautiful.
He
Not
picked
getting
out-
this back.
He picked out the engagement, and then I designed the band.
So, okay, but before we bring JJ in, this just brings up something that I battle all the time. So I have a YouTube channel, right?
Right.
And we load up all of our podcasts to YouTube. And we get these keyboard warriors come out going, this is just old men paying for sex. This is all this is. You guys can call it whatever you want.
Which it is absolutely not.
I know. Here's living proof that is so much more, so much deeper. If men were just paying for sex, is there that going on? Of course. Is that going on Tinder?
Yes.
Absolutely. I mean, come on, don't be ridiculous. So My response is, well, what about all these fabulous trips these girls are going on? What about these fabulous dinners that they're going on? That's not just sex.
Right.
You know, it's a whole dating thing. Have I met somebody on Seeking and we just had sex? Yes. Yes, it's happened.
That happens all the time.
It happened on Tinder. It happened on Bumble. I mean, just don't be stupid, people. You get me riled up when I see comments like that on my YouTube. Go ahead and keep making them. Just continue to be uninformed. But here's living proof. It's so much deeper than that. And that's kind of why I started this podcast, was to tell some crazy stories, for one thing, and just expose some of the great people that I'm talking about that are on. You're very smart, intelligent, attractive. These are not dumb people walking around just hooking up.
Right. I mean, and then I had this crazy corporate job where I worked all the time.
Yeah.
He actually retired me when he proposed.
Oh. All right, JJ, we're bringing him now.
Okay, I love it. I am mesmerized by that ring. I've never seen so much sparkle.
Good job, JJ.
He did a really good job.
Thank you.
All right.
And thank you for having me on the pod.
Well,
Appreciate
thanks
it.
for coming in. It's kind of, it's a little bit out of our comfort zone sometimes. And here we are talking about very personal things, but you guys are an interracial couple. We've had a few on here just kind of give people an idea of what's going on. But you said you don't like white guys, right, Lynn?
It's not, they're not my preference.
Yeah.
I will date them, but I guess growing up in San Antonio, when I went to medical high school, and so I was, surrounded by a lot of Indians, Asians, Hispanics. But I grew up watching the Spurs. I mean, and we would get courtside tickets, and it's just
stuff.
Nice watching black men run up and down the court.
That's your thing, and there you go.
And it's funny because I actually have, him in my life, and then one of my best friends is also black.
Yeah, yeah. We've got a really good mix coming to our party of all nationalities, so I'm excited.
Yeah. We do want to chat with you about that.
Yeah. Okay.
Afterwards.
Yeah. We'll talk about that after the podcast. All right, JJ, we keep trying to bring you in and we keep getting distracted.
It's all good.
How long have you been in the Phoenix area?
Since 1997. Long
That's
time.
when I moved here. Yeah. What brought you here?
Training. Yep, my training. I'm a physician by training.
Okay.
So I did my residency at St. Joe's.
Okay. Now, where did you grow up?
Upstate New York.
Oh, you're from there. Nice. You're from that part of the country.
You wouldn't think a New Yorker and a Texan would get along.
Oh yeah, no. There's so many New Yorkers out here. I run into some of my best friends are from New York, and we have our sports rivalries. But yeah, other than that, they're good people, right?
They like our weather.
Yes.
Oh yeah. All right, so you've been out here since '97, married, children. What's your story?
So I was married.
Okay.
And kind of wind it back a little bit here.
Yeah.
So I was first introduced to the sugar lifestyle at the age of 28. I was lifting weights with another gentleman, and we were discussing, you probably remember what Old Town was like back then.
Oh yeah.
It was, jets and sticks, and Old Town was very different.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of silver foxes, a lot of beautiful women from Tempe, ASU. Very, very different scene than it is now. And we were just discussing women. And like a young man, I felt that, I was God's gift to women, and I could get any Scottsdale blonde I want, right?
Yeah.
And I remember this gentleman lifting weights with me. He was in his 40s, and he said, "Youngster, you don't know anything about women." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" He said, "You know nothing, young man." And I said, "Okay, well, let me put." He said, he challenged me. He said, "You know what? Next weekend, let's go out to Old Town. We'll see how many numbers you get. We'll see how many numbers I get."
Yeah.
He collected 15 numbers. I got 0.
Really? And you tried hard?
I tried hard. So after that embarrassment, he said, "Son, you know nothing." And you will see what I'm talking about when you're my age.
See, I could feel his pain right there because I went through the same damn
But
thing.
he didn't try to coach you or give you any pointers?
He did.
Oh, okay. Here
He
we
did.
go.
So
After
he
the
taught
fact.
me a lot, and I'll kind of go over that as I'm kind of giving my story. So that was sort of my first introduction to really the elite sugar lifestyle, because he was a high-level executive for Dignity, not married, no kids, and he was dating tens. Unbelievably gorgeous women. And a few things that he emphasized to me was obviously going to the gym, because he was lifting hard in his 40s. He thought I was in the right profession. And he said, you gotta have the bag. You have to have the money. And you also have to learn women. And so he taught me about female nature. And one of the first lessons he taught me was he said, when you're dealing with a woman, act as though you have had it. Act as though you've had women.
Yeah.
So that's the most important thing. Like,
Confidence.
you don't have to get in her skirt on date one. Act like you're the man and you've had a ton of women. He said women are attracted to confidence.
Yeah.
So even if you don't have a girlfriend, if you act that way. So that was sort of my first lesson. Now, again, I'm in my late 20s. And so I did the whole dating in the 30s thing. And interestingly enough, I did some traveling. I traveled abroad. And I saw what the sugar lifestyle was like abroad.
Like where?
Brazil.
Oh.
I went to Brazil, the Czech Republic. Ooh, oh my goodness.
That's on my bucket list.
Oh yeah. So
I watched Instagram from those models from Czech.
Really, I was sort of a daddy in training out there.
Yeah.
Because there are loads of beautiful young women. Of course, I'm making money, so I'm kind of getting used to that idea of you got to take care of the women, and it's my resources for her youth and beauty. That was sort of the deal. So I did that in my 30s, and then I met what I thought was a very nice woman. She fit the bill, feminine, friendly. She was a patent attorney, former runway model.
Where'd you meet her?
6-foot blonde. I met her at Devil's North, the old Devil's North.
Okay.
On Shea and Scottsdale.
Okay.
It's a McDonald's now. So I met her there. We dated for about a year and a half, got married. The marriage really just went south quick.
Why?
Biggest reason was she didn't like black people, and I'm black. That she married a black man.
That says me.
Wow, and you're not just black. Like, you're not light skinned. You're black.
I'm black.
Yeah, you're
she doesn't
obviously
like black people.
which I
weird.
love.
Like, she wasn't
Yeah.
attracted to them?
No,
or
she loved black men. She did not like black people. So she would use disparaging remarks in my presence.
Oh, God.
And it was causing some family issues. It was disrupting I had friends that would no longer talk to me that were lifelong friends. That was sort of the beginning of the end, because it was just, we chose not to have kids because we kept getting into arguments about like how the kid's going to be raised. And I said, biracial kids are by definition black. So I have to sort of, if we have a son, I have to raise him as a black man. Well, he's a white kid. Well, he's mixed. He'd be checking black on the college application.
Yeah.
So, culturally, the society's going to look at him in a certain way. I went to school with biracial kids, and they're like, yeah, I'm biracial, but I'm kind of black. It's the cops think you're black when they pull you over. So it's true, right? So, we had these you got to have these discussions. So anyway, things kind of went south, got a divorce, got my life back on track.
And how long were you guys married?
About a year and a half. So it wasn't long.
Not long.
And then at that point, I had decided to really sort of dive back into the dating. So I was doing the sugar dating, but I was doing it organically. So I was going to all the hot spots, trying to meet women.
Which is a lot of work.
It's too much work. So
It's
what
a lot of
happened
time.
was that I stopped
I ain't
altogether.
got time for that.
And then I ran into Seeking.
Yeah.
So I got on Seeking about 8 years ago. And
same.
I was on and off. And I really sort of learned a lot about the sugar game on the fly. Mm-hmm. Then I took another break. I had some health issues with my family, so I left Arizona, came back out. But when I came out, I had turned 50. And so I kind of moved up to the zaddy status.
There you
It
go.
was sad because the zaddy's an experienced daddy. So how her and I met, it was very deliberate. I was actually looking for a strong sugar baby. So I got back on Seeking. I got the Diamond membership.
Wow.
I was very, very active. And I actually met Lynn and then another woman who we'll just call Leslie at the same time. So I actually had two sugar baby candidates that I was seeing. They knew about each other. So it was a bit of a competition.
But you were trying to narrow it down to one.
I just wanted one.
But you needed to
But I
vet both
met
of
two
them.
great ones.
Yeah.
I said, okay, well, I'm just going to go out with both and we'll see which one.
Okay.
See which one sticks.
See which one. Right. And so I was vetting them pretty hard. Lynn won, clearly. So I stuck with her. And, she had mentioned the first date. And one of the things that I asked her right away was, because I was the one that kind of pushed to meet her. It's like she said, I've been catfished. But I just didn't have time. I was like, hey, listen, I'm going to get this done.
Yeah.
I know that you guys had mentioned some people just have sex, but sexual compatibility is kind of a big issue for me.
Well, of course.
And
We're
so
all sexual beings.
The first question I asked her is, I said, am I attractive enough for you to have sex with? Mm-hmm. Because if you say no, that's it. The discussion pretty much it. If you don't find me attractive enough to be intimate, what are we doing here?
Right.
Because I knew right away with her. As soon as I saw her, I'm like, yep, instant attraction. And she said yes. At that point, we had a very nice discussion, but we were not intimate that night at all. Nope.
Sounds like it was close to a month.
Yeah. I said,
Really?
Yes, we waited. Yeah. Even though we were sexually attracted to each other, it was the lesson I had learned from my friend 20-something years ago that said there's no reason to rush.
Yeah.
You don't want to act like, you're so hard up and horny that you got to do it the first night. Just relax.
Yeah, your friend has some good advice.
He gave me some great advice. And so we actually got a chance to get to know each other. I had run into issues with women or babies that were just purely too transactional. And I found Lynn to be very untransactional.
Yeah.
So she was not interested in that. I think she was more interested in a lifestyle, which is something that I found to be very attractive because my circle, the married men in my circle live a certain lifestyle. And so the women that they have are plus ones. And some of them they're on wife number 2. So wife number 2 is much younger, but it was more of a lifestyle. And so can you provide that lifestyle as opposed to, hey, cover this and cover this and cover this. So I know that she was really interested in lifestyle. That's one thing she talked about. Do you like to travel? Yes. How do you like to travel? Well, I'm first class, 5-star hotels. Well, where do you like to eat? The best restaurants. So,
we are very much foodies.
And she's really,
Yeah.
and she's appropriately vetting me as a daddy/zaddy. Mm-hmm. So I knew even before she told me that she had experience with a gentleman that was a high value, Kevin Samuels' term, a high value gentleman. I could tell. I'm like, okay, she must have been with an elite man just based on the questions that she's asking about me. Yeah, that's pretty much how I.
So how long did it take you to phase the other girl out?
Oh, I got rid of her within a day.
Really?
I thought you said it was a couple months.
No. When you won, she was gone the next day.
Oh, okay. But I mean, you were dating both of us for a couple months. Then.
Correct.
Okay.
So
Okay.
And
So
then I guess why did you ultimately choose me over her?
I think there was a multitude of things, to be honest with you. I found you to be a lot selfless. I found her to be more selfish. One of the things that was kind of a really big determining factor was I had COVID back then. You remember? Mm-hmm. So I actually had the flu on us. I had the flu and I had COVID. Mm-hmm. And Lynn was nice and calling me and checking in on me and offering.
Seeing if you needed food.
If I needed food. I'm like, no, stay away. I'm really, really sick. Whereas the other young lady never called, never offered to bring food over. And I kind of gave her some feedback on that. And she really didn't appreciate that. And I'm like, well, we're not even like seriously dating and I have the flu and the Rona and you're showing your cards. I'm glad you're doing that because you made my decision easier because that was the sort of behavior that my ex had. Mm-hmm. So I saw that coming a mile away.
Yeah. And I know you also mentioned like she drank like a fish.
That wasn't the biggest issue.
And then
that wasn't the biggest
spend
issue.
Crazy amounts on whatever spas and not tell you about it.
Well, yeah, that wasn't the biggest issue, though. The biggest issue was I felt her to be just overall selfish.
Yeah.
And so the choice is pretty easy.
Okay. Now, you said you knew of the other girl. You guys never met.
No.
Okay. And what were your thoughts at this time? Just let it play out?
I figured I would let it play out. I mean, I knew I was a pretty good catch. I don't want to be cocky or anything, but I mean, I was brought up in a good family. I have some very well-off relatives. I mean, so I've kind of lived this higher class lifestyle. I knew that she was Hispanic, and I mean, growing up with other Hispanic girls in San Antonio, one, I knew they were one, either very selfish or two, very motherly. But when I heard about her, she kind of seemed the more selfish part.
Mm-hmm. And there's another caveat with her. It turns out she had a kid that she never told me about.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, withheld some
goodness.
Yes.
pertinent information.
So she had hidden all those pictures on her Instagram.
Oh.
And so obviously she blocked me, but I have a ghost account. So I was able to follow her on a ghost account. And I saw pictures of her 9-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because my Latino friends said, there's something wrong with her. You're telling me she's 32, she's Hispanic from Tucson, no kids, no husband? I'm like, yeah. They're like, that just doesn't sound right. She's either has a husband or has a kid. She's from Tucson? Yeah. So I actually told them, yeah, she's got a 9-year-old. So that was, I didn't know what she was thinking keeping that from me because I made it clear that I don't date single moms. I don't have any
Well,
kids.
that's probably why she was keeping it from you. She didn't want to lose you.
Well, she was going to lose me either way.
Wow. Yeah.
I mean, eventually that's the kind of lie that's going to come out.
Yeah.
So, and at that point, that would just be crushing because I would have lost her. But, I know she made a good point. But one of the things that I think a lot of babies have to understand is that the rules are different in the sugar game, and that the men, the daddies, are the prize. Because I've done a lot of research on this, and a lot of the women on Seeking are also on Bumble and Hinge.
Yep.
And so the average woman will get somewhere of like 60, 70 messages in a day. And on Seeking, they may get none because the ratio is 10 to 1, women to men. So, as a man, you sign up for Bumble, you could swipe and whatever, nothing. But on Seeking, the ratio is flipped.
Right.
So there's 10 beautiful women for every one of me. So I open up and I have women messaging me that would never give me the time of day if I was on Bumble. And people gave me some heat for spending that money. And I said, it's money well spent. I'm not interested in dealing with other dudes. I don't mean to be arrogant, but I want a young, beautiful woman. I know beauty costs. I know what these women want. They want a successful man. I need to separate myself from everybody. Seeking, by their high fees, separates. So now I have more women to pick from because most men aren't going to pay $300 or $400 a month for a dating website. They're simply not going to do it.
Well, what we call it is our cheat code. We've
Correct.
worked hard.
Correct.
We've spent the time building our careers. We have some means. I need to get in front of the line. And how do you do that? It's our cheat code. It's our financial incentive, basically bribing somebody, give me an opportunity. I couldn't get it like you. These swiping apps, I couldn't compete against all these people. There's nowhere in there for me to really, I guess, show my accomplishments, show my intelligence, show it because I just couldn't even get a date.
When you're on Tinder, it's a swipe.
Yeah. It's all looks based.
You get to flex. You get to have your pictures. You can put your net worth. You can put what industry you're in. You can put like what you're looking for. And frankly, I've had several dates off of Seeking where they flat out told me, if you had messaged me, I never would have even got to your message.
Absolutely the same thing. Same thing.
Yeah,
And so
same with Trucker. I don't think I would have even given him a second glance on a traditional site.
I mean, she's met an unbelievably fantastic guy, and you guys are going to meet him at the party.
Yes.
He is the most generous, loving, kind business owner, very successful. You have to literally wrestle him over the check every day, which I feel terrible. But now I'm just kind of like, okay, just pay it. If you want to buy dinner so bad, just buy it.
Are you going to wrestle him tonight?
I'm going to try, but he's pretty strong.
I'm about to say, you and your friends do that
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, so
It's amazing. But she would have never probably swiped right on him.
I wouldn't have.
Yeah.
Absolutely would not have.
I will say what drew me to his profile when obviously he was black, so that piqued my interest. But he's tall, which is also another perk. I don't even care about height because, the guy that I was dating in Texas, he was, I think, 5'4".
Yeah.
And I'm 5'8", so height really doesn't matter that much.
For me, there is I don't really discriminate on race, but there's not that many black sugar babies here in Phoenix.
Yeah, it's very limited. Yeah.
It's very, very limited, but I don't discriminate.
Right.
But I want it young and I want it good looking.
Sure.
And if people...
Why not?
Well, yeah, if people want to give me heat, I'm like, well, it's human biology. Mm-hmm. If you go to other countries, you don't see wealthy men with unattractive, overweight women. You just don't see it anywhere in the world. And I've traveled all over the world. So why is it any different?
Right.
When I was a member of a country club, everybody's wives were very good looking. Now, as far as the progression of our relationship, when we met, we had no intention of marrying.
But I knew you were looking for something
Yeah,
long
but that's
term.
the beautiful part about
we were looking for both. I was really looking for a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Although I thought it would be kind of cool to marry a sugar baby. Like if you had a sugar baby and it worked out, wouldn't that be the ideal goal? Mm-hmm. Would be to get out of the sugar game and just go ahead and marry your baby. And so as our relationship progressed, I felt that, yeah, it's time to take this to the next level.
How long did you guys date before the marriage part came up?
Maybe a year and a half, maybe.
Okay.
We started.
Well, you gave it enough time.
Yeah.
It always scares me when guys rush into it so quickly after a month or two. They think they're in love and they're going to marry this girl, where it takes 4 to 6 months for that real person to even come out.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, but we also had some timing issues. I mean, because we dated for a while, and then I broke up with him.
You did?
Did.
Why?
Do you want to tell the story, or do you want me to?
Well, now the world wants to know.
We can both tell it. So we were discussing, because sometimes I go on my rants where I talk about stuff, politics and whatnot, and I'm conservative. I am. Yes. And so we were discussing the type of women that I would like to be with and I would definitely don't want to be with. Mm-hmm. And I told her I don't date attorneys.
I was taking the LSAT that Saturday.
I've dated attorneys. I don't deal with them. They're argumentative. They're masculine. They're feminist. They want equality. For the most part, very liberal politically. It's a mess. I'm not going down that path. They're very non-traditional. And I'm not condemning all attorneys, but I'm going out with enough of them. I went out with law students when I was a med student. I went out with lawyers, actual attorneys, all types of attorneys. And that is one group. There's like certain professions that I'm going to try and avoid, like law enforcement. No thanks. Attorneys, people in healthcare, I tend to stay away from. So I just don't date attorneys.
Okay.
She never told me that she wanted to go to law school. She never told me that she was taking the LSAT. So she just ghosted me.
I told you on our first date, because you asked about like career aspirations, and I'm like, I want to be an attorney.
That was it.
You
were done.
You
ghosted
forgot.
him?
I did.
You forgot she wanted to be an attorney.
Well, I don't think he thought I was really that
Or
serious
it didn't
about
sink
it.
in, probably.
So we worked it out. And I should have said, well, attorneys in training are different than actual practicing attorneys. If you're talking to going back to school, I went back to school, so I know what it's like. That doesn't necessarily make me that type of person. I went back to school to get an MBA in finance, but I wouldn't call myself, a crazy coke-addicted investment banker. Right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's just not me. So it was a complete misunderstanding. I should have been a little bit more clear with that, but again, I was ranting. So we just got back together. I really didn't want to jump back in the market again because I really liked her. And then I think it was maybe 3-4 months after that, we got engaged.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so Lynn says she grew up affluent. Did you grow up affluent as well?
No, I did not. So but my parents tried the best they did. So we lived in an affluent neighborhood, but I was very poor. So I grew up playing golf, but at municipal courses, whereas my friends grew up at the country club. So I had aspirations for that lifestyle because I had exposure to it at a very, very young age.
Okay, and initially you said you were a physician?
Yes.
Did you specialize in anything?
I'm an internal medicine.
Okay,
physician.
and then you went on to get an MBA?
I did. So I left clinical medicine in 2018, got an MBA with plans to be a hospital CEO, went on interviews, didn't really like it. So I sort of went a different direction. So now I have a day job, which I like, and then I also have a company that I've started, and Lynn's been very helpful with that. And so it's been an absolute boon. I've been very blessed. We've both been very blessed.
Well, you've worked hard.
Well, allowed me to retire her because, we were watching an episode of Fresh and Fit, and there was one episode where the guy was using some profanity, but he said, listen, my women will never, ever have to ask another man to go on vacation with me. And I feel that way. You are not going to go ask another man if you can go to Europe with me. If you're going to work for somebody, you're going to work for me.
There you go.
So I just, she actually left her job. She spared me because I was going to write a nasty letter to her boss because they were really mistreating her. But she ended up leaving that position. And, I'm going to put her through law school. I'm going to help start a practice. And I need legal help with my company.
Yeah.
I wish she was an attorney now.
Right.
We're going through some issues where I'm like, boy, I wish you had your bar. So this is an investment. She's going to be working for me. And frankly, it sort of separates it because it's not like, I'm just marrying some dumb bimbo. My wife's an attorney who's also my former sugar baby, but she's not your average sugar baby.
Well, and how great would it be, or is it going to be, that you're not pressured to make a living
Right.
You can do this because you want to do this.
I mean, and so I'm in a very niche field because I want to go into corporate food law. So
Okay.
I want to represent big food manufacturing companies. But it'll be nice. I'm not going to have to go out and get a big law job where I'm working 80 to 100 hours a week again. I can kind of pick and choose my own clients. And the fact that I have
incredible.
12 plus years of high level experience in the food industry or food manufacturing, plus I'll have a JD. And then I also think about working for the FDA for a few years just to get some networking connections. I can charge whatever the heck I want and people will hire me.
Do you guys want children?
No.
No.
Okay.
She can't have any. That ship has sailed.
Okay.
Adoption may be a possibility, but if I was going to do the biological children thing, I'm not going to pull a. Who was it that just had a? Was it De Niro?
Yeah.
Yes.
He's like 80 and just
Yeah.
had a kid.
Right. I saw that.
First of all, that's horrifically unfair. I mean, I kind of experienced that in my own family. I have a brother that's 16 years younger. I'm 53, he's 37. Both of our parents passed away 2 years ago. And so he loses his parents in his 30s.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I at least got to 50. So, you know, having a child now, I could be gone in 20 years. That's not fair. I won't even be there to see the kid get married or anything like that. So I think that there's a time limit to that. And that's the other thing, being we're sort of a lifestyle couple.
I mean, we travel a ton.
We travel all the time. It's okay.
I love that
We're
for
going to
you.
Miami.
Same,
We're
like,
going
we-
here. We're going here. We're going here. Where do you want to go? Let's go.
We got married in Aruba in
married in
April.
Aruba.
You're going to Vegas this weekend. We're going to Miami the following weekend.
And then you're going to
Santa Barbara
the following weekend.
And then we're going to Philly, New York.
Going to Philly, New York.
We're talking about going back to
Then
Aruba.
going back to Aruba.
All
We got a
summer.
lot of miles.
Jamaica. Ooh, I wanna.
Beach
That is-
Boys.
that's
Beach
what
Boys,
inspired
yeah.
where we got married.
That actually
We were
the song
talking
that
about
inspired us.
locations.
Really? That song?
Yeah.
Yes, the song came on, and I was thinking about Aruba, and we wanted a destination wedding, but we wanted it in an island neither one of us had been to.
Wow.
And so she's been to a ton of islands. I've been to a ton of islands. Neither one of us have been to Aruba, and that's how we picked Aruba.
And how was it?
Incredible.
Unreal.
So we met some people on vacation. We were in Curacao, and that was their favorite island, was Aruba. They
It was
highly
previously
recommended it.
Cayman's for me, but Aruba took over.
Yeah, we're talking about buying a vacation house down there.
Well, I've now put Aruba on my bucket list.
So
It's a must.
Yeah.
and
It
my
is-
best friend and her husband came after the wedding celebration, and they fell in love with Aruba, and they actually bought a timeshare down there.
We're looking at property.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's that nice.
Well,
Maybe they'll invite us.
Yeah, right. You know, I hate to do this, but we are out of time. The hour went so fast. You two are fascinating. We'll talk about the party afterwards, and we're going to talk about having you back on because
Yeah, we would love to.
I
Love to.
feel like
I
we
still have so
just
many
got
questions.
started. You know, it's funny how things work out in life. I met her one time. We stayed in touch. Lily messages me Monday or Tuesday, says, "Hey, we don't have a guest for Thursday. What are we going to do?" I said, "Let me think about it." You messaged me like an hour later, and here you are.
I could say from my standpoint, when she talked about this, I was actually excited to come and talk to you all because the whole sugar thing, I think there's a stigma that's not really there. It's kind of non-existent. I'm very comfortable telling people where we met. I'm very comfortable telling people I married my sugar baby. The response has been actually pretty nice. But the women are like, wow, that's cool. How do I do that? You know, I mean, it's sort
Yeah.
of like, it's not like, oh, you're the creepy old man. It's like, oh, you married your sugar baby. Yeah. So there's not as much stigma out there
Well-
as it used to be.
What people don't understand is men are playing a very traditional role here. They are acting as a provider. They are working hard. They have seen some success. That is attractive to women. Younger women have always dated older men for the most part,
Shoot, I wish I knew about this when I was in college.
right? So it's not so different. It's just people are like, oh, you're paying young girls for sex.
And
That
that's
is the whole
furthest
stigma.
thing. I have a
It is
niece
absolutely the
that
furthest
is
thing.
21, and she's stunning.
Mm-hmm.
And I've talked to Lynn, and I said, you need to meet my niece. And I think you need to talk to her about this. I'm being completely serious because what I want from my niece is I would love for her to be married to a man of status.
Right.
ideally,
Why not?
her future husband should be doing an orthopedic hand surgery fellowship now. And then when she's 24, 25, he's 40, she's in Europe right now in college. And I've talked to her and I'm like, you want to take your kids to Europe? Yes. Well, you need to marry an older man. Well, it's coming from me. Well, how much older? Uncle JJ? A lot older, dear. Like you 20, 15, 16 years. Really? 40, 41? So hearing it from a man is one thing. Mm-hmm. Hearing it from Lynn is totally different.
Right.
Especially with my first marriage experience.
Exactly. So to say, listen, this is the time. I don't want her to wait until she's 40 or 45. I mean, there are going to be men of means that are going to be attracted to you. And it can give you the lifestyle that your dad was super close. She grew up with that.
I wanted to ask about family. So are your families very accepting of your relationship being a sugar relationship, A, and an interracial relationship, B?
They were not at first. My parents were, when I mentioned to them that I was dating JJ, their first comment was, he's only using you for your body, and black men can be abusive.
Very stereotypical.
Yes.
Coming
And
from
I'm
the girl
like,
who said don't date Scorpios or Hispanics.
Yeah, coming from.
but
Lily,
I mean,
just-
I told them, I'm like, he treats me well. We go out to all the best restaurants. You know, he pays for me to get my hair done. He pays for me to go get massages. He pays for my personal trainer. And we've never had a PPM, whatever, or an arrangement. He just kind of asked me if I need help with anything. And
he provided.
yeah, which is what I was looking for. I wanted something that was long-term. I wanted something more traditional. One comment on his profile on Seeking that really stood out to me, I think it was like the last sentence on your profile, was looking for somebody to build an empire with.
So
That's a pretty good little statement in there. I like that.
Yes, that I had some coaching for that. So on my side, my father kind of did had a problem a little bit because my ex-wife was also Caucasian. And so I think that he wanted me to marry a black woman. Mm-hmm. And I told him, I said, to me, personality and political affiliation outweighs skin color. And I cannot be with a liberal. And so if you could clone Candace Owens, that would be great, right?
Yeah, she's great.
So more than likely, I'm going to be with the woman that shares my worldview, which she does. You know, the more the conservative, we very much believe in gender roles and that sort of thing. And I just kind of said, this is who I'm going to be with, and a considerable upgrade. But that's a great question.
I'd say in Aruba, our families got along great. My brother and his brother clicked immediately. My brother loves him. My brother hated my ex-husband.
Well, I kind of went through,
on her best behavior for my mother. My dad liked you a lot.
So you overcame the interracial prejudices, but do your families know that it started out as more of a sugaring situation?
Yes.
And how do they feel about that?
My brother, who's also got engaged 3 days after he got married in Aruba, he was all for it. I mean, he knows me, and he's like, that's just my brother. That's him. The country club elite. He's going to have the young hot wife. I mean, that's just, you know, and he's referred to Lynn as a doctor's wife. That's what she is. She's a prototypical housewife, doctor's wife. Young, beautiful, with the blinding, calls her
my asteroid.
Asteroid, blinding rock.
God.
Yeah.
So I think that's what they would expect.
I covet that ring.
And my friends expect that. I mean, there's a certain expectation you have, and it's unwritten. You really should be with somebody like that. I mean, I could never be with somebody my age. I just couldn't. Not the second time around. I mean, if I got married in my 20s, sure, but not now. So.
And Lynn, did your family have any problem with you being a sugar baby?
I don't really know if they ever realized that's what's going on.
Okay. Well, you grew up affluent, so they just figured.
So my family, my immediate family is more middle class. My mom has some very wealthy sisters. One is a housewife to a guy that has a private jet and yacht and mansion and butler and all those things. She has another sister that, you know, she was a VP for a very large gas company. So like her and her husband both worked. I think they just knew that after going through my marriage and being with somebody that didn't make anything, that I would probably go the other direction.
Okay. We probably better wrap it up, even though I have 5,000 more questions.
We'll be back.
That's why I said we're going to have them come back because I can see this thing continuing on for hours.
Just has to be before I go to law school in August.
Oh, so where are you going?
Texas Tech.
Oh, you're going to Tech, a big Red Raider, huh?
Unless ASU lets me in off their wait list
Yeah,
in the next couple
got a
weeks.
wait list.
Yeah. I'm waitlisted at 12 schools.
Oh, are you really?
I got into 8 and I got decent scholarships at all of them.
that's good.
Texas Tech threw in in-state tuition in addition to my scholarship.
Did they really?
Nice.
Well, that's good. I mean,
Yeah.
you've been to Lubbock?
I was in Lubbock almost every other weekend in college because I was on the beat judging team.
Oh, yeah?
And our program was very new and they had a very well nationally recognized program. But yeah, I didn't expect to like this law school. I'm like, I'm not going back to small town Texas. But I went to their admitted student weekend and everybody there was so genuine. They were so nice. I mean, you know, when gas was $4.59 up here, it was $3.09 down there. I took myself out to a nice steak dinner and I walked out paying $45, including tip.
Oh, yeah.
For, you know, filet and a side and I think shrimp cocktail for
Right.
appetizer, dessert.
Oh, there's some things I miss about Texas, definitely.
Yeah. Lubbock is dirt cheap to live in.
Oh, yeah.
Will you relocate temporarily, or will you do the long distance thing while you're
We'll do
in
long
school?
distance. His plan is to go down there for like a week every month. I'll fly up here for about a week in a month.
And she'll transfer.
Yeah.
to
Hopefully
ASU.
I'll be on the top of my
Eventually.
class and then be able to transfer to
There
ASU.
you go.
So you got plans.
Yeah. You know, put my name on his lease so I can, you know, stay an in-state resident in Arizona.
Perfect.
We got
Well,
plans.
I was so excited when you contacted me and you agreed to come on the show. I knew this was going to be a lot of fun, and it was. If you guys want to share your crazy sugar dating stories, you can go to our website, secretsofasugardaddy.com, even contact me on Instagram. That's where Lynn and I chatted. Even better, though, Patreon.
Join the Patreon.
Yeah, you'll get a really quick response on Patreon, and you get to enjoy a lot of fun things there. And I guess let's just wrap up with our party is coming up. By the time this episode comes out, we'll be very, very close to the party, and hopefully we'll have some spots filled. Go to our website at secretsofasugardaddy.com, press on the contest form, and you will find all the information about it. We want to have you there. It's free for the sugar babies, all those things included that I talked about. Hopefully we'll have some more sugar daddies to step up, and there's a little bit of cost for you guys, but it's well worth it. You're going to meet people in the lifestyle, and you're going to make friends that you will have for the rest of your life, and it's going to be a weekend you will never forget. The reason I know this is because that's what last time it was.
It's going to be the time of your life.
It was absolutely fantastic.
Take 2.
Yeah, and those people that came to our last party, they said it was one of the highlights of their entire life. So it's more than just, you know, I had somebody comment, they're like, I don't know if I'm going to sign up because I don't know that band. Okay, first of all,
Who cares?
you don't have to know
It's
the
still
band.
going to be fun.
Everything else is worth it, but you will enjoy
Okay, this is really embarrassing.
Hootie and the Goldfish.
I'm going to have to admit something really embarrassing.
All right, what's that?
Do you remember when I was messaging the gang, like the group text, and I was like, wow, Hootie looks exactly like Darius Rucker?
Wait a
Nobody
minute.
told me they were the same
I
person.
thought you were kidding.
No, I seriously was like, that's his doppelganger.
I even know that.
I did not know.
I thought you were making a joke. That's why I didn't respond.
No.
Oh my God.
I really somebody said that later on to me, and I went, oh, I'm an idiot.
All right. Well,
Old and blonde.
you're going to enjoy
It's a lethal combination.
They had an album that I think is still in the top 30 of all time albums from back in like 95 or something. It was such a great album. But regardless, you want to come hang out with people in the lifestyle and just meet new friends you're going to have for the rest of your life. All right.
The twins, Hootie and Darius.
Okay. I'm going to wrangle up Lily, teach her a little thing about music.
Oh, gosh.
All right. Lynn, JJ, again, thank you very
Thanks,
much.
guys. This
Look
was
forward
really
to
enjoyable.
Thanks for having us.
At minimum, we
Thanks
all
so
need
much for having us.
We need to go on a triple date.
Yeah,
we would
for
love that.
sure.
Go out to dinner. We big foodies, and
I get one cheat meal a week, so
You do? Okay. We're gonna get that planned. Lily, get that planned.
I'm on it.
All right. Until next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining us. If you'd like to connect or even be on the show, we'd love to hear from you at secretsofasugardaddy.com.